Angels say that when you hear of their death, you must remember that they have been called to a place where love is all-encompassing and eternal. The angels want you to know that while their body has perished, their soul has entered a state of everlasting joy, surrounded by divine love. Do not cry when you hear of their death, for angels say they have been welcomed into a realm where there is no pain, only the purest form of peace. Their death is not a goodbye, but a transition into the next phase of their soul's journey. Angels say they are now in a place of eternal light. The angels remind us that death is not something to be feared, for it brings the soul closer to the divine, where they are now watching over you with love. Angels say that when a person dies, they do not leave us. They become a part of the spiritual world, guiding us from a place where they are free of suffering. Though your heart may ache, the angels whisper that their soul is now in a state of pure bliss, far beyond the pain and limitations of earthly existence. Angels say that their passing is not the end, but the beginning of a new chapter, one filled with light, love, and the presence of the divine. Do not mourn their death, for angels say their soul has ascended to a place where they are free from the struggles of life, resting in eternal peace. The angels tell us that while their body is gone, their spirit has been lifted into a place of divine light, where they will forever remain. Angels say their death is not to be grieved, for they have returned to the source of all life, where their soul is now enveloped in love and light. When you hear of their passing, remember that angels say their soul is now part of a realm where love is endless and peace is everlasting. Angels say that death is merely the soul's journey back to its true home. Do not cry, for they are now in a place of eternal love and divine protection. The angels want you to know that while their death may bring sorrow, it is also a moment of release, allowing their spirit to soar in the realm of the divine. Angels say that death is not a loss, but a homecoming, a return to the divine embrace where their soul can rest forever in peace. Do not cry when you hear of their passing, for the angels say their soul is now in the presence of the divine, experiencing a joy that transcends all understanding. The angels tell us that death is not the end, but a transformation, allowing their soul to reunite with the divine and experience eternal bliss. Angels say that in death, they have found a peace this world could not offer. Do not mourn, for they are now where love is all-encompassing and infinite. When you hear of their death, remember the angels' words. Their body may have perished, but their soul is now free to dwell in the realm of the divine. The angels remind us that the soul never dies. It simply returns to the source, where it will be forever surrounded by love and light. Do not weep for them, for the angels say their spirit has transcended this world and now rests in a place of divine peace and infinite love. Angels say that death is not a tragedy, but a passage to a higher existence. Their soul is now in a place where joy knows no end and peace is eternal. The angels tell us that though they may be gone from this world, their soul is now free, embraced by the divine in a place of endless light. The angels say, "Do not grieve for them too long, for their soul has been lifted to a place where suffering no longer exists and love reigns eternal." Angels tell us their departure from this world is not a loss but a gift, as they have been embraced by the divine, where peace and joy are endless. Angels whisper to those with ears to hear, "Don't cry when you hear that this person is dead, for their spirit has transcended beyond the limits of this world into a realm of everlasting peace." The news of their passing may shatter your heart, but the angels remind us that the body may perish, yet the soul is eternal, carried by divine wings to a higher place. Grief is a human response, but the angels say, "Do not mourn for too long, for they are now in the company of celestial beings, watching over you from a distance you cannot yet reach." Angels reveal that what we perceive as death is not the end, but a transformation. Do not weep for them, for they have found freedom in the arms of the divine. When you hear the news of their death, remember the angel's message. They are not gone. They have only returned to the light from which they came. The pain of losing someone can feel unbearable, but the angels assure us their journey did not end. It continues in a realm filled with love and light beyond your understanding. Though their voice may no longer echo in this world, the angels say, "Listen closely, for their spirit still speaks in the rustle of the wind and the warmth of your heart." An angel whispers, "Do not be sad when you hear of their death, for they have been called to a place where joy knows no bounds and suffering no longer exists." Angels remind us that the soul's departure is not a loss but a homecoming. Weep not for them, for they have returned to the place where love is pure and eternal. The angels want you to know that although their physical presence is gone, their spirit has become eternal, shining brighter than ever in the heavenly realms. When the news of their death reaches you, remember the angel's words. Their body may have perished, but their soul is now in the presence of infinite love. Angels say, in death they have found peace that this world could never offer. Do not cry, for they are now surrounded by the purest form of love. Angels urge us to shift our perspective on death. It is not an ending but a transition into a state of divine grace, where pain and suffering no longer exist. The angels tell us their journey is not over. It has just begun on a higher plane where they are free from the burdens of earthly life. So do not weep for them. When you hear of their passing, angels say, hold back your tears, for their soul is now wrapped in divine light, experiencing joy beyond anything you can imagine. The angels speak softly. Don't cry when they leave this world, for they are not truly gone. Their essence lives on, watching over you from a realm of peace. The angels assure you their death is but a moment of transition. They are now in a place where their spirit can soar freely, unburdened by the weight of the physical world. Angels say that while you may grieve, remember that their soul has found eternal rest in a place where only love and serenity reside. Do not be consumed by sorrow, for the angels say their spirit has ascended, and now they dwell in a place where they are at peace, watching over you always. The angels remind us that the person you love is not truly lost. Their body may be gone, but their soul is alive in the divine presence, filled with boundless joy. Angels say, cry not, for they have moved on to a place where the love they held in their heart grows even stronger, radiating back to you from the heavens. When death comes, it is not the end, but the beginning of a new existence in the spiritual realm. The angels say they are closer to you now than ever before. The angels want you to know that the person who has passed is not suffering. They are in a place of unimaginable peace, embraced by the divine light. Do not weep when you hear of their passing, for the angels say they are now walking among the stars, free from the pain and sorrows of the material world. Angels whisper, their death is not a tragedy, but a release into eternal peace. They are now cradled in the arms of the divine, and their spirit shines brightly. Though you may feel their absence, the angels remind us that they are never truly gone. They have simply moved to a place where they can be with you in spirit. Angels say, do not cry, for their soul is now experiencing a bliss that no words can describe, enveloped in divine love and eternal light. The angels speak, do not mourn their departure from this world, for they have merely stepped through the doorway to a place of infinite peace and happiness. Their death is not an ending, but a passage into a new form of existence. Angels say their soul is now free, and they are closer to the divine than ever before. The angels tell us that death is not a reason for sorrow, but a celebration of the soul's return to its true home, where it will be forever at peace.